Now on the D3Football.com Around the Nation podcast, joined by Garret Wilson, the sophomore quarterback for the North Central Cardinals. His team, of course, undefeated, the last undefeated team in NCAA Division III football, headed into the national semifinals and ready to take on John Carroll in the late game of our two semifinals coming up next Saturday. This is podcast 400, so we've got 4 interviews today, 4 for 400. And Garret, I appreciate, first off, you taking the time. Secondly, congratulations on helping quarterback this team into the semifinals.
Thank you. It's an honor, to be able to join this interview with you. So it's been great.
I appreciate it. Obviously, lots of stuff happening at North Central over the past week. We'll talk about the on the field stuff in a minute, but the battle of Jeff Thorne against his stomach cancer was finally ended over the course of the past week, and he passed away on Tuesday night. I know, obviously, you didn't have direct contact with him as a coach. Maybe some of your teammates did, and I know a bunch of the assistant coaches either coached under him or some played for him. What's been kind of the feeling on campus or among the team over the past week about that?
Yeah, it was really tough to hear that. We kind of heard the news after practice, and a lot of our seniors, pretty much all of our seniors and our 5th-year guys were really the ones that had any sort of relationship or kind of contact with him. And then obviously, Coach Spencer coached under him for however long, and then a lot of our coaches are on staff, our alumni, so they played under him.
Yeah,
and so that was tough for all of us, but also kind of almost gave us an edge last Saturday because, we had another kind of motivation reason to go, kind of fight for him and kind of, do the things that we should do for him. Luckily, we got to have a game that kind of remembered him early this year against Augustana.
right.
And he came and spoke to our team that Friday night before the game. And that was really cool to see. Hear him. I got to meet him. And so that was really good to meet him. And just I would have loved to play for him. He seemed like an amazing coach, amazing guy. And so, yeah, his legacy at North Central is never going to be forgotten. He's the one that got us our first national championship. So, just prayers to his family and, the North Central, family in general. I know his funeral is this week, so we'll probably have a bunch of guys be there to support him. So, yeah.
So refuse to lose was already part of the mantra. That was one of the things that Coach Thorne, I should be specific, of course, and say Coach Jeff Thorne, because more than one Coach Thorne in the North Central legacy, but one of the things that Jeff Thorne brought into the program, and that, of course, that's a statement that carries on. Does it carry more weight now with the passing of Jeff Thorne?
I think it does. I think it does a lot. There's a couple, refuse to lose. And then this Saturday, we kind of used the mantra of keep swinging. He always said, keep swinging. Coach Spencer talked about a story when they went to Mount Union. I believe it was 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was a shootout. I believe it was like 59-52 or some, high scoring game. And they were down 10 at half. And kind of their mantra of going into halftime was keep swinging. And so that was really inspiring to hear that, before the game Friday. And we kind of used the same thing, this Saturday, going to halftime. Luckily we're up 7. And so just keep swinging. We're, the offense is going to get it together. And, I think that refuse to lose will have even more weight, with him sadly being gone. So, yeah.
That game on Saturday, you talk about going into halftime up 7. That almost didn't happen. Obviously, the defense was on the field at the time that this happened, but what was your perspective on how that all went down, right? The receiver fighting for extra yards, and then maybe forward progress stopped, and then the ball handed off to the offensive lineman. What were you guys thinking as that was all developing? And then the long discussion about it.
Yeah, that was crazy. I just remember watching the play. I saw the receiver catch it, about to get tackled. I look down, I look up, and a lineman's run the end zone. I'm like,
yeah,
what world is going on?
That was about my perspective as well, for what it's worth. Yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone in that stadium was like that. But yeah. And then, that was a long process to get that call. But I mean, luckily it worked out the way it did. And so yeah, I mean, it was just a crazy kind of momentum shift for sure. But I'm glad they got it right. So.
How's it been stepping in and taking kind of the reins of this offense? Like, so you spent a year at Oklahoma State, which is obviously, at a pretty high level in the Division I FBS, kind of hierarchy. And then you reopen your recruitment. You end up coming to the defending national champion. Do you understand as you were coming in what you were stepping into in terms of just like legacy of North Central quarterbacks, the previous few guys before you?
Honestly, probably not. I knew I looked up, uh, Luke's stats before, and I was like, okay, this is this. Like, yeah, he's pretty legit. And then saw that he was getting, opportunities in the UFL and professional wise. So I knew that it was. And then kind of talking to Coach Spencer during the recruiting process and just seeing, the guys on the wall, I was like, oh wow, this is a very prestigious, quarterback team.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to kind of learn about and see for sure. So
What's been your overall impression of Division III coming from the level that you came at?
it's been great. I came into it really just wanting to. I had a shift in my priorities of what I wanted out of college football, and that was guys that generally wanted to be here to play football. They didn't want to be here for the NIL, for all the other things that come with that. And so just a bunch of dudes that you can build a relationship with and, be best friends with for the rest of their life. Cause, you know, once they're here, they're more than likely going to stay. There's not a lot of transferring and shifting around due to football. And so that's kind of what I was looking for. And it's been great. And competition wise, like for the most part, it's very similar. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of guys that can play. Unfortunately, with the transfer portal, there's a bunch of guys that can play at D2, D1 level, and I think they come down to the same reason I did. They just want to build relationships and they want to play in a place where they can go back to what they were, dreaming about as a kid, is having fun playing football. So.
Tell me a little bit about, for those who haven't seen you play, your kind of style as a quarterback. Like, is there someone that you maybe model yourself after, or someone who you watch to kind of specifically pick up things that might help your game?
Um, I mean, I would say I'm a pro style quarterback that can run when I need to.
All
Um,
right.
I won't give myself the benefit of being able to run past guys, but I can run when I need to and make something happen when there's nothing there. But quarterback wise, that I've always followed. I mean, I'm in love with Aaron Rodgers' throwing motion in general. It's kind of someone that I've tried to emulate as much as possible. But I mean, I try to take as much stuff from everyone as much as I can. I mean, there's so many great quarterbacks today that if you're not trying to get an edge on whatever anyone's doing, then you're doing it wrong. So.
During the season, do you have time to do much of that, or are you just focused on, between your games and schoolwork and prepping for the next opponent and watching film? I'm wondering if maybe you don't even have time to watch an NFL game at this point.
Luckily they give us Sundays off. They give us the days off, and I
Okay.
mean we do, but it's very little. It might be box scores after the game or whatever. And being from Oklahoma, I don't really have an NFL team, so being around these guys, a bunch of them are Bears fans, and with how well the Bears are doing, they're pretty tuned into it. So that's been fun to kind of keep track with. Um, but no, there really isn't. Like you said, there's just so much going on, especially during the season where you're kind of locked in on your next opponent. So yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously a good bit older than you, but I think that when I was younger, to hear someone from Oklahoma say that they don't have a team and that they don't, automatically align themselves with the Dallas Cowboys, that would be practically sacrilege, I would think.
Yeah, you might think that. I don't know with how the past couple years have been with the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't want to hop on that, and then
Yeah.
I could have always gone with the Kansas City Chiefs, but it was too late for me to hop on that bandwagon. So I didn't want to be that, I didn't want to be that bandwagon fan. So I just stayed neutral, liked players, and might be a Bears fan. So who knows?
That's fair. Hey, I'm all for, not just jumping on bandwagons. Those things, those sorts of fans drive me crazy. Running game behind you guys this year has been kind of in flux a little bit, right? You've had guys in and out of the lineup. Donovan McNeil was back at full strength, it seemed like, on Saturday, but Sean Allen was out. You just got a bunch of guys that kind of in and out of that spot. How's that affected how your part of the game goes?
I wouldn't say it's changed that much. I mean, I think we got a really good running back room. In general, we got 4 or 5 guys that we can give the ball to and we trust each and every play. And so those guys are professionals about how they go about things. And so luckily we have a great O-line that they can run behind. And so it's been amazing. I mean, Saturday was a true testament of what we can do on the ground. I think we had around 60 attempts rushing, so that was pretty crazy.
Right.
And, I mean, yeah, Donnie, Sean, Jay Will, Zeb, G Blaze. I mean, those guys are beasts. So
I'm just going to fully shout out those guys' names: Zeb Rashid, Jordan Williams, Galashki Blaze. That I hopefully I pronounced any of those nearly correctly.
Oh yeah, that's how you say. Yeah.
And of course, Thomas Skokna has been, the key receiver for you guys this year. He had a pretty good year last year, and he's just elevated to another level. Tell me a little bit about him as a receiver.
Yeah, he's amazing. Anytime you can get the ball in his hands, you want to do it. Just his ability, yards after the catch is what makes him really special. And you can see the growth he's made throughout the year from watching film of last year to this year, of his, just understanding the game, understanding, what I'm seeing, what I'm looking at. And so kind of just him finding holes in the defense, and then when the ball's in his hands, he make something special happen. So he's been great, not only on the field, but off the field. I mean, he's a captain of our team. He was the first guy that reached out to me when I, said I was coming here.
Okay.
Kind of took me under his wing. And so he's been great off the field as a friend, captain. Yeah, he's amazing.
How much time does it take to kind of build a rapport with a guy like that from coming in from camp, as the games, as the season goes on? How much time do you really have to spend with a wide receiver to kind of get that connection?
A lot. Luckily I was able to be up here during the summer, and he lives, 20 minutes down the road. So we were able to, get together a lot this summer and throw and just talk and hang out. And as much as it might seem on the field of like timing and stuff like that, a lot of it's off the field, just hanging around him and getting to know him and building trust with him. That's what a lot of it is. And so being able to do that during the summer, and then, camp, getting a bunch of reps with him and stuff like that was great, along with the other receivers. And so I think it's been special how good of a connection we've built, in this, I guess, 6 months. So yeah, no, it's been awesome.
How has the speed of the game kind of adjusted? Not just, I'm not, and here I'm not talking about D1 versus D3. I'm talking about, as the season progresses, as the playoffs progress, and your opponents get progressively tougher, especially on defense. What does the speed of the game feel like to you at this point?
I think there's some aspects that slowed down. I think there's some aspects that sped up. Obviously, starting off the year, it probably felt a little faster. Just really honing in on our game plan, what Coach Spencer wants to do, what he likes, what he sees, and then kind of getting in throughout the season, really understanding that. That's where I'd say it kind of has slowed down in that sense of just, knowing what we're wanting to do on offense, what we're wanting to get to, what we're expecting from the defense. And the coaches have done an amazing job preparing myself, and so just knowing the game plan each and every week has really slowed the game down for me. And I'm not looking at 11 guys, I'm looking at a couple each play, and that's made it really easy for me. So
I gotcha. Tell me a little bit about the interplay between you and this. I'm going to may butcher Demir Ashiru's name also. Okay. Thank you for nodding your head. Yeah. There's a couple of like offensive packages where he comes in and runs the offense. How's that interplay between you guys?
Oh yeah, it's been great. Demir's a heck of a football player, and we practice it a lot, so it's not really anything crazy when it happens in the game. I mean, we're pretty much used to it by now. And so yeah, I mean it's good that we can give defenses a couple different looks. I think it mixes them up, and so whatever you can do to you know bring stuff to your advantage is going to help. So um, yeah.
Ferris State must have had a heck of a quarterback room, right? You think about the two guys that transferred out are playing. One of them's playing very high level football at Ole Miss, and the other one is here at the D1 or D3 number one team in the country.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then I mean, even the guy they got right now is killing it. So
Right.
yeah, they've definitely produced.